Rocky, touch.
Touch is a nose move to the palm of our hand. We can use this as a way to redirect our dog away from something or to simply get them warmed up and focused and ready to work with us.
Rocky, touch. 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 Yes, good boy. Touch. 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 Yes, good boy. Rocky, sit.
For sitting down, you'll see that I am rewarding sometimes a second or even a third time. This is to help build his ability to hold the position that was asked of him. This is really important so that he's not trying to kind of jump the gun and go, when you ask him to sit, go straight to down. And so he's not kind of guessing. He's actually listening to what you asked and also learning something really important, which is when we ask you to do something, if you continue to do that behavior, there is a chance for more reinforcement. This is how we build longer term duration for things like leash walking and stays, and pretty much anything we do, wait, so that he learns we continue to do the thing, you can get rewarded.
Good boy.
For recall, you're going to say, Rocky, come. And then as soon as he turns his head and looks at you, you're going to mark yes and then begin praising him. That yes, as soon as he looks at you, is really important. That's what lets him know he's done the right thing and he's going to start heading your way. So then you're going to praise him all the way to you and then reward with a treat.
Good boy, Rocky.
You can practice this outside in the backyard. Anytime you're outside with him, just bring a couple treats with you and randomly throughout your time there, call, reward, and then let him go back to play. This helps let him know that sometimes we just need him to check in. We're not always trying to call him away from something. To advance on this, you can also use a long leash, which is like a 15, 20, or 30-foot leash, and practice in places like the front yard or even at a green space in the park to help advance this in his ability to do it in any situation to really build up for those emergencies. Also, make sure that you are practicing encouraging him when he gets to you, that automatic sit, and then practicing grabbing his collar or harness and then rewarding again. This is, again, really important for those situations where there was an emergency and you need to be able to grab him. We don't want him playing games with us.
Nice job. Rocky, place.
Place means go there, lay down, and stay there until released. Rocky's release word is free. So when working on place, you're going to point towards his bed, cue place. Once he is on the bed and laying down, you will say yes and then reward by placing a treat on the bed. This is a really important piece of place, is making sure that we're always rewarding him from the bed and not directly from our hand. This helps him learn that the good stuff happens to him on the bed. It comes to him. He does not need to try to get up and meet us for it, because if we're feeding it from our hand, they will often try to get up when they see us walking towards them to meet us where the treat is given, which is from the hand. If he knows the treats come to him on the bed, he is more likely to stay put on the bed. Then you're going to move around, walk around, practice some distance and some distractions, and then periodically come back and reward, again by placing it directly on the bed. If at any point he gets up, you're simply going to send him back to place by pointing towards the bed, cue him to place, and then wait till he lays down. And then you will not reward right away. You will actually try to do something, either what you were just doing before he got up or something else just to make him work a little bit for it, then come back and reward. This is important that so you don't get stuck in a loop where he thinks he can get off just to be asked to go back to get a treat. So if he does get up, you're just simply resetting, send him again, start over, and then make him work a little bit for it, and then reward. There are two main ways to practice place. One is what you see here, which is what I call the formal training session, where you're asking him to go to place, and then you're practicing moving around, adding in some different distractions with the goal of slowly building in the amount of time between each treat until you can fade out more and more. Another variation of a formal training session that I love with kids is playing Simon Says with the kids. So you have Rocky on place and then have the kids do things like run across the room, roll on the floor, crawl across the room, toss a dog toy up in the air, just different things. And then as the adult who's training Rocky will stand next to him, rewarding him periodically throughout. And this just helps build his ability to withstand whatever the kids might be doing. The other way to practice is in real life contexts like you see in this video. This could be in a lot of different contexts, but whatever you think you would want him to be doing place, For me, that's dinner time, so that we don't have a dog that is bothering us while we're eating, or especially when we have guests over. So you're going to pull the bed in nearby, close enough that you can reward him still. You're going to cue him to place, and then you're going to periodically, throughout that activity, dinner, or whatever you're doing, reward him. If he gets up, just like in those other training sessions, you're going to send him back to place. And then once he's been there for a little bit more, reward again. If he's getting up a lot, that lets you know that he needs rewarded a little bit more frequently for a while. So go back to rewarding more frequently, and then work on spacing that out again. And then just like in our formal training sessions, anytime you've asked him to place, he has to be released from it. That is how he's going to learn to stay until released. So make sure when you're ready for him to get up that you tell him free, and encourage him to get up off of his mat. If you consistently practice every time you're doing that thing, you will see that he starts to pick up that routine and will start placing on his own. So because I do this every night at dinner, this is routine for us. When he sees his bed being brought into the kitchen and laid down, he immediately will go to his bed because he knows that if he stays on his place during dinner, he will be rewarded for it. Sometimes Rocky does bark a little bit and starts to get a little demanding. If he does that, ignore him, wait a couple seconds for him to be quiet, then reward again. We just want to make sure we're not rewarding him for demand barking at us. And lastly, if you choose to do this during a time like dinner when you're going to be eating, I highly recommend using a food that you don't mind touching and then touching your own food. I personally do not like to touch the freeze-dried treats and the gross smelling dog treats and then touch my food. So what I like to do is use string cheese. I can just get a stick out, set it next to me on the table, and then break off little pea-sized pieces throughout dinner and reward him. It's a lot less messy and smelly for me, and it makes it high value and exciting for him because he knows during dinner that's what he's going to get. He's going to get something really special that he doesn't really get any other time. Wait means stop and don't go any further. So when we say wait, we're drawing an imaginary line and telling him that he cannot go further. He does not have to be in a specific position like sit down or stand. He can even walk around as long as he does not cross that line. So here we're practicing on the steps. That's really great for safety, just to make sure you're not getting tripped as he goes up and down the stairs. He does like to get under your feet in those moments. But also, we're building that ability for him to stay behind that line by tossing the treats back behind it. Just like we did with place, instead of giving it directly to him, we're rewarding him back behind the line. So you can do this in any room of the house. If there's a specific room you don't always want him to follow you in, you can tell him to wait and then be rewarding him for staying. If you do not want him to come in, you never have to release it. That's the great thing about wait. Unlike place, where it has to be released every time, wait does not. You only release wait if you're going to let him cross that line. So here I'm having him come down the stairs. I'm going to release him because I want him to come with me. If I'm going to go step out the door to pick up a package, I am not going to release him. I'm going to step out, pick up my package, come back in the house, shut the door, praise and reward him, but it does not need release because I'm not letting him go through that door. I would practice this on stairs, different rooms of the house where you may not always want him to come with you, and then of course the front door, so that we don't have a dog that wants to dart out the front door and dash away. So make sure you're practicing this regularly. Also practicing anytime you have a package on the front door, it's just a great reminder that, hey, we should practice right now, because the package isn't going anywhere. So if it takes you a little bit of time, that's okay.
Yes.
And then, of course, when you're taking him out on a walk, make sure you practice, and then you will release him. So make sure he's waiting until he's released with his cue free to go out the door on the walk with you. Free. Good boy. Nice job. Leave it means back away from the thing you were headed towards. So here we're practicing with dropped treats. This is to help mimic dropped food, things that might be dangerous that you might spill, candies, chocolate chips, pills, anything like that. So you're going to drop the food, tell him to leave it once he backs away. Yes, and then reward him. In real life, when these things happen, you're not likely going to have treats on you at the time. So what you're going to do is a praise party to the treats like you just saw me do here. You're going to say yes, and then praise, 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 and run with him to go get treats.
Yes, good boy. Nice job.
Drop it means let go of the thing that is in your mouth. So here we're practicing with high value bone options. I'm going to give him the thing, ask him to drop it. Once he lets go, yes, and then reward with treats. You also want to make sure you kind of reward away from the item that he's dropped, so that if this was something dangerous, you'd be able to get back to it and pick it up before he could go back and grab it. If you say drop it and he doesn't let go of it, you're going to toss some treats off to the side to encourage him to let go of the item to go get it. So sometimes something is just too valuable and he's not quite good enough with his drop it cue yet. So we're going to help him out by tossing the treats off to the side to reward him. And then he's going to drop the item, and then while he's eating those treats, you can go and pick up the item. If you toss the treats and he still does not let go of the item and does not go for the treats, then you're going to approach him slowly and calmly to take the thing away from him. He will often just go ahead and let go of it. It's not a tug game, but you want to make sure that you're approaching this calmly, and so that he doesn't feel defensive or want to start guarding items. Let's go. All right, so I'm out on a walk, yes, with Rocky, and we're just going to talk about what we're doing to work on his leash skills. Good boy, Rocky. So the main thing you're going to see me doing, yes, is what we call rewarding good choices. So when he's walking nicely next to us, yes, he offers us attention, especially if there are distractions around. He's walking slightly in front, yes, but still on a loose leash. We're going to mark yes and reward him. So we're rewarding any good stuff that we see, anything we like that he's doing, yes, and letting him know that he's doing a good job. When you reward, it's really important that you drop your hand right at your side, yes. So like that, even if he's a little in front, he has to come back to my side. This is going to teach him that all the good stuff happens at my side, yes, and going to start keeping him closer. So that is really important. It's really important when you do that, you're using that hand that is closest to you. Because if you are crossing in front of your body, yes, oops, sorry, buddy, using your other hand, he is going to start meeting you in front, and you're going to be annoyed because you're going to be tripping over him. Oop, Rocky, this way. So if he crosses in front, you're just going to turn him around and reset, get him on the correct side of you. Yes. Sometimes he likes to cross in front a little bit. So he's still working on that. Yes. So again, even if he's in front, but he hasn't pulled yet, he's still on a loose leash. Yes. I'm going to make him come back to that side. Right here, Rocky. Good boy. Come back to that side. This way. This way is our cue that we're changing directions. So anytime you're going to kind of turn around or take a turn, you can cue him this way. With sniffing, we do want to allow him to stop and sniff and check out the world. It's really important. It's part of socialization, and just being a dog in general. Yes, good boy. To get opportunities to stop and check things out, sniff. Obviously within reason, as long as it's something that's safe. Are you weirded out by the trash can, Rocky? Yes, good boy. So we do want to allow time for sniffing. If he is sniffing for a long time and you would like to move on, you can cue him, let's go, which means we're moving again. Yes. And then that'll help him kind of move on, and then you can reward him once he kind of follows through with that. Lastly, right now with him, because he's so young and still learning, of course, you're going to be rewarding a lot, like you see me doing. So make sure you have lots of treats with you. You can break them all pretty small, so they're like pea-sized. And good boy, Rocky. Let me get back to that in a second. I'll show you kind of the sniffing. So he's sniffing. We want to allow him some opportunity for that. And when we're ready, we're going to say, let's go. And we're going to start moving. Yes. And then reward him for moving with us. Good boy, Rocky. Yes. Good boy. So anyways, with the trees, we're rewarding a lot right now. You're going to be rewarding what I would say is about 100% of good choices. Yes. And then as he's doing really well and walking really nicely the majority of the walk, you can start weaning down to 75 and then 50 and then 25 until he doesn't need so many treats. Yes. And that'll happen over several weeks depending on how frequently you're practicing and walking. But just know right now at this age, every walk is a training walk. And so you will be working on this every time you take him out right now. Right now, he's not doing a whole lot of pulling forward or anything? Yes, good boy. But so if you continue just to work on rewarding those good choices, you shouldn't see a whole lot of pulling issue, because instead of worrying about telling him what not to do, right now we are teaching him what we want him to do, and that will get you a lot farther than just addressing him pulling forward. Yes, Rocky, good boy. Nice job, Rocky. Good boy. So Rocky can be a little skittish when out and about when it comes to sounds. And so I just kind of wanted to demonstrate what that looks like for you. When there is a sound or a sight that he's a little nervous about, we're going to do what they call the look at that game. So when he looks at it, or you can tell he's heard it, right? He gets a little, his ears go back. He starts kind of scanning. You're just going to mark yes and reward. And that's what we're going to do. You're going to do it again and again until he stops looking at it or stops worrying about that sound. And this is going to help pair scary things that make him nervous, with good things, which is the food. Yes! So you can even do it with any stimuli. He's not too worried about the cars themselves, but any loud noises, banging. The neighbors are just like picking up some buckets, and that noise of like plastic and stuff being moved around was kind of freaking him out. We've heard some construction-y type noises or people working in their yards that kind of startles him a little bit. So just kind of pairing hearing and seeing those things that worry him a little bit with something good. Yes. 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 And that's a wrap on Rocky's training.